Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. I admire the work Modi is doing. He is once again after Indira Gandhi trying to and has been very successful in projecting a global image of a powerful country, multicultural, multilingual, but still with innate unity of mind and thought. But while we are all praise for Modi in all the parts of the world, I'm just amazed that how could this government falter? And they have faltered. They have forgotten that one misstep can be a disaster, not only for them, which wouldn't bother, but definitely for the country, which would bother a great deal. Because failure of India at this stage would be failure of democratic hopes and decimation of the Indian polity. India is a bulwark against China, and it's, as I've always been saying, one of the major pillars that supports this world order. But when Union Home Minister Amit Shah made a controversial pitch for Hindi as a national language, very clearly stating one nation, one language, it was a shock. Withdrawal of Article 370 was a shock, but that was a welcome shock. NRC Assam was a shock, but a welcome shock, because they were aiming at unifying the country against fissiparous tendencies. Nevertheless, this action has such an inbuilt reaction that it can tear asunder the carefully built nation. And rightly so. Imagine tomorrow Prime Minister Trudeau declaring that English is the only language, thereby negating French. Naturally, Quebec would be up in arms. And as a matter of fact, I'm amazed that in Canada, there are two official languages. But when I look at the government circulars, the host of the languages, 44 languages approximately, they appear and the translations are easily available. So for all intents and purposes, they may not be the linked language, they may not be the official language, but they are recognized as a languages spoken by a vast segment of the society. Now, when Amit Shah declared one nation, one language, even the regional BJP leaders were up in arms. I can understand the reaction and opposition by the Congress-ruled provinces. But beauty is that the BJP Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa declared that all official languages are equal and there will be no compromise on the importance of Kannada. BJP-LI, AIADMK asserted that Tamil Nadu will stick to Tamil. And then BJP-controlled states, Uttarakhand and Gujarat, the home state of Modi and Shah, were also not very happy. They kept quiet, very quiet, but then they showed their opposition in opposing the increased road safety fines. So there has been a very clear reaction to the statement. And then, let's not forget, the language issue in India is not new. As a matter of fact, when Telangana was created, it was the first step. Then the division of Bombay into Maharashtra and Gujarat was the second step. Establishment of Tamil Nadu was the third step. And established division of Punjab into Punjab, Haryana was also succumbing to the pressure of the linguistic fanatics. It's a very old issue. It has emotive history in the country. Constitution is very clear. It treats Hindi as an official language of the country. There's no denying the fact. And gives the states the option to use the language of their province and legislate in that language. Now, if you are legislating in your own language, whether it's Tamil, Kannada, Bengali, Punjabi, Swahili, whatever it is, Malayalam, Konkani, there are 22 languages, and now they are which are recognized as the official languages, 22 languages. Now, since Hindi is the national language, official language of the union, not of the provinces. And let's not forget, Constitution gives the states this right. So either you have to amend the Constitution, and that would result in what happened earlier. We have seen that Bangladesh came into being only because Urdu was being thrust on the Bengali-speaking people. That was the key driver that divided Pakistan into two nations. In 1965, I remember there was a strong anti-Hindi agitation in Tamil Nadu, which absolutely stopped the progress of Hindi and its imposition on South, and it was accepted that Hindi can be a link language, but it's as official as 22 other languages are. Let's not forget another thing, that the concept of one language, one nation to foster unity among the people is an old theory. It's a construct of the 19th century European nationalism. France will speak French, British would speak English, Germans would speak German, Poland would speak Polish. That was when each country was a self-contained unit. But the moment you stepped in the 20th century, the whole parameter of nationalism changed. And coming to 21st century, it's a concept of globalization. And look at the mass migrations. If more than 50% population of a country is that of those people who don't speak that language, then what do you do? And what restricts them once they have immigrated? They say they know the official language, but then they ignore it. So you have got to accept that. In the 20th century and the 21st century, another thing has happened, apart from globalization, that's the technological progress. And that has brought the language barriers down. Language is meant to communicate, and today you have got such devices which will translate into 50 languages immediately. You just keep it, so you don't need to know it. But still, for the day-to-day affairs, you need one language or multiple languages. And then one thing, if Russia could have 26 languages with lesser population, why can't India keep on being what it is? And secondly, the country is placed, they have accepted the concept of the three-language formula. And that is that Hindi and English are the link languages, and English was supposed to be link language for a limited time, but then they realized that you cannot throw English. And English is an official language of one of the states. So Hindi and English are the link national languages, and other 22 languages are the national languages. So all of them together are national languages. And the people had accepted it. So the international work and the national work would be done in Hindi. The state within that you can do in the national language. And in case there is a third person who doesn't speak either of the languages, the education can be given in the third language as well. There is a first language, second language, third language. So this had been accepted. And then you want to foster unity, which is a very acceptable thing. It's a laudable aim. To foster national unity is something which everybody should wish for. But is making one language the only way? No. Imposing one language to create a sense of unity is a fallacy and results in disaster. I don't have to go far. Let me again remind what happened in Pakistan in 1971. They tried to impose Urdu. And there was a reaction was so much that the whole country stood up as one man. And it became an independent country. Do you want India to turn into 22 different countries? And that's the aim of China. Don't forget the policy paper of 1998 of the Chinese government, which was leaked out to intelligence agencies, said that they aim to divide India into 22 parts. Pakistan wants to take revenge of Bangladesh and divide India. So do you want their aims and their dreams to be fructified and dreams to be realized? And if you want to have a stronger union, there are other ways. I remember in my time, we stopped talking of the national integration. I presented a paper in which I said that national integration always follows the emotional integration. And the whole concept was to promote the emotional integration. People should feel involved. That point was accepted by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. And the whole turn was given. We started talking of the national flag. We started talking of the national anthem. We started talking of the national song. We started talking of the unifying factors. And the result was, in 1965, 1971, and wherever, the whole country stood as one man. And then look at the reality. Hindi is a rich language and a good language. As a matter of fact, Hindustani should have been the language, not Hindi. Too much of Hindi Sanskritization makes it an alien language. But the literature of Tamil, Malayalam, is no less rich. Oriya, Bangladesh, Bengali. These languages have a preeminence as far as literature and the richness is concerned. How can you ignore that? The moment you say only one language, you are trying to suppress other languages. And don't forget, Sahitya Academy was created to promote all languages. Secondly, as I was saying, there are other ways of fostering national unity. Have a single, simple text structure, which was done with GST, but still some anomalies are there. Create a common market for the country. Foster a single labor market for better ways of integrating the country and boosting the economy. We don't have a common market in India as yet. We talk of the common market abroad, but what about the common market in India? Even the labor market is not a single labor market. There have been issues with the other states' labor. And then, well, the country's economy is boosted through these efforts. As I said, single tax structure, simplified, single common market, single labor market. It would enable people to move much more freely. And the movement is already there. Let's not forget it. Today, Biharis in Punjab would be possibly more than 40% of the population. So Punjab doesn't remain Punjab, it's Punjab Bihar. The number of the UP Walas and Biharis and Punjabis in Maharashtra and Mumbai is unimaginable, that of Tamils included. So the real Mumbaikars might be much less than the new Mumbaikars, the residents of Mumbai. So that is already making the country a unit. But the moment you impose a language, the old wounds would be opened. And the people start asserting their individuality of their language. And that would be a Sisyphus tendency. That would be encouraging the centripetal forces. That would be anti-national in fact. You see, there have been onslaughts on English language, and they have been counterproductive, because English was linked to the India's progress in modern sectors like IT. And now this action of Amit Shah is restarting language war, which would not help the nation. I hope wisdom dawns. Brute majority always is not helpful. It is helpful in doing good things because people accept it. But once you do something which emotionally agitates them, then it can be counterproductive. Let not the great work done by Modi government be eclipsed or whittled down by such mendacious actions which are not at all either desirable or for the good of the nation. And the sooner the government realizes, the better it would be for the country as a whole. Think about it. Thank you.